The second thing I wanted to ask is going back to the oval at Indianapolis last week. I believe you've been one of the ones outspoken over the years about we should be on the oval there. So now that it's happening next week, just your expectations for that race. I think there's some concern about what the racing will look like, but the excitement and just the atmosphere of being back on the oval.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're crazy about side-by-side racing, it's probably not going to be too exciting for you, but it's still just a big event. And it still over time has been some of the cars with the best engines, best aerodynamics, the best execution on pit road. All those things is what equals a winner at that track. There's many different ways you can win in NASCAR, right? It doesn't always have to be through the normal competition that always happens. We've seen it, fuel mileage be a part of the last few winners and things like that. So Indy will be no different. It will be an execution type race. You're going to need to qualify well, but you just never know what can happen. Strategy is a big deal there. I do hope that these cars have enough drag down the straightaway to create slingshot type passes like we see on the Indy cars at that track. The only thing that will limit that is that I think our corner speeds are maybe just a hair too fast for the second place guy to stay close enough to make that work. So it'll be tough, but I think on new tires you got a shot to see something pretty great. Other than that, I think the purist needs to be looking at the strategy part of it.
Let's go to Jim and then Claire.
Jim Hunter, Motorsport.com. Sort of related to Kelly's question, before the next gen car and before the Indy road course, there used to be a lot of talk that people who did well at Pocono also did well at Indy or vice versa. I wondered if you felt that was ever true for yourself, and is it too early to tell whether that might still hold true with the next gen car?
I think there will be similarities for sure. A lot of it is just because of the long straightaways, the corners, the angle of the corners are not all that different. When you look at turn 2 here at Pocono, the way you approach it would be very similar to what you approach turn 2 at Indy. So I just think for many, many years, it's the cars that have that good mix of horsepower, drag, and downforce ratio. You take it to this next week at Indy, what you took here at Pocono, and you're going to see a lot of similarities. So I do think that you can draw some of those conclusions.